So welcome to the Cairngorms National Park. Last week I decided to escape and go to the Rucksack, and this week I've decided to escape and drive a little bit further afield. So I'm now in the Cairngorms in one of my absolute favourite places in Scotland. This is a place called RØDE. I'm currently on my way up to a place called Loch. It's got one of the most beautiful lily ponds I have ever seen. Absolutely gorgeous. Just on cue, the sun's starting to come out, so I'm hoping that it's sort of mid-afternoon just now. So I've got the macro lens with me today and also had the 20-40-70 lens with me today, so I'm hoping to get a good variety of images today using both macro and sort of normal landscape styles. Yeah, let's go for a wander and see what we can find. Welcome to Loch, just up from RØDE. This is one of my absolute favourite places in the Cairngorms National Park. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. Unfortunately, the weather's not playing ball, which is very, very typical. It was lovely and sunny earlier, and I was hoping some of that sun might come back out again, just to sort of illuminate some of the lily ponds here, which you can just see behind me over there. Rather than worrying about the weather or getting the macro lens out, I've decided to shoot a bit of an abstract kind of shot. For this sort of photo, we're shooting the 20-40-70 lens. The settings that I have so far are 200th of a second, f6.3 and ISO 100, and the reason for that is because I want to keep the darks very dark, the lights very, very bright, and I want to create a very monochromatic sort of image using the lily ponds as a sort of leading line up to the reflections in the background there. So just as you can see there, the trees actually look kind of upside down, and you've got the lily ponds sort of snaking their way through up to the background, and there's some ducks skating across the water up the back. It's quite a nice abstract image. It could possibly work as black and white. I'm not really sure yet. But what we're going to do is just walk round the loch. So there's a couple of wee sort of sandy banks which are closer to the water, so I'm going to try and get up to them and see how close I can actually get to the lilies. And if I can get close enough, then I'm going to get the macro lens out and try and shoot them really, really close. I want to get a beautiful sort of dreamy looking lily picture, which I've been thinking about for years and years and years. So I managed to find another little path to come down to the waterside to try and get a photograph as close as I could to one of the lily pads. Unfortunately, there aren't any within about, I don't know, 10 feet away from the sort of water's edge here. I'm not wading in because I did that before and I ended up with a leech stuck to me. So I'm not doing that again, and it was this very, very pond. But I've come down basically to shoot this here, which is this amazing reflection in the water of the mountains, the Cairngorm mountains over there. And you've got some really beautiful foreground, you've got the lily ponds, you've got some reeds. Unfortunately, it's not really working for me. I have taken a couple of photos here, but it's not really working for me. And the reason for that is because there's no atmosphere. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's gorgeous out here. It's absolutely beautiful, but from a landscape photography point of view, I think that's what separates the good photographers from the great photographers, is knowing when to shoot and when not to shoot, and I'm not shooting. I have taken some photos just from the fact that I was here, but not for publishing anyway. It's because I'm trying to sort of mix up the macro and the sort of landscape photography, but I don't know, it's quite difficult switching between the two. It's kind of like driving an automatic car and a manual. It's two different types of photography, so you kind of have to get your brain into looking at things in a macro form and then switch back out and see the bigger picture, and that's quite a challenge, but so far I'm really enjoying it, but I just wish this weather would get a bit better. So I'm walking back from Loch down to where I'm basically camping tonight. Found these absolutely beautiful thistles by the side of the road. It's a single track road here, you need to be really, really careful because cars are just speeding up and down. Look at this wee guy. Brazen as you like. So this little bumblebee, I've just been sitting photographing him for about 5 minutes. He's moving around really, really slowly, so he's really, really good to photograph. There's a little fly just over here as well, and he's just sitting, oops, you nearly kill him. He's just sitting there quite happily on that thistle, posing his little heart out. I'm really, really happy with the photograph that I got. I'll just show you that just now. Can you see that? There you go. So I'm really, really happy with the photo. I'm shooting handheld at the moment, and my settings for this particular photograph is f2.8, 250th of a second and ISO 320. It's starting to get, not dark, but it's fairly dingy just now, and I wanted to make sure that he was lovely and bright and kind of pretending that it's a nice summer's day, which it's not. So let's go. So as you can probably see behind me just now, it's absolutely heaving down with rain. Like, I'm really, really glad that I took my jacket on my hike, because that happened on the way back. I'm not sure if you can actually see how bad it is, but I'm just going to show you. And I'm sleeping there tonight. So I'm just at that stage now where I'm packing everything back up into the car. For this trip, I'm just going to quickly show you what I've got with me. So I've got 24-70mm lens, which is f4. Which this is kind of, it's not really its maiden voyage, I've had it out once before. I still have this on loan as well. I have the 100mm 2.8 macro lens on loan still just now as well. That's not mine, but it's a beautiful, beautiful macro lens. I'm going to go get some pakora that I brought with me. I'm going to go and peg the tent down even more because I don't like the side sticking, I'm really funny that way. Yeah, we're going to stay here tonight, get up really, really early tomorrow morning and see if there's any sort of residual. I don't know what the weather's like in the morning, it's supposed to be dry, so I'm hoping for a bit of mist on the loch. If not, I'm hoping for some light. There should be some breaks in the cloud because it's partly cloudy tomorrow. So I'm going to get up really early tomorrow and go to bed early tonight and see what we can get. But I've got 2 different locations planned for tomorrow, maybe 3, depends what the weather's like and how tired I am. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. So I've come for a little drive up to the Cairngorms car park. I've just come up just to get the views and have my coffee here. It's just such a beautiful, peaceful place to come up, but since I've been here, about honestly 20 cars have passed me. I don't know where they're going because the Cairngorms ski resort is closed. Nothing's open till the 15th of July and with that sort of facility. So I don't know where they're going. Maybe they're just going for a drive. So just an update, I actually camped over at Loch last night. It was only a tenner or so to camp with the 2-man tent and the car, so that was really, really good. Then we just put the tent next to the car, which is fine because it was a bit stony, but it was fine. I've slept in worse. Today's plan of action is to go from here to a place called Loch, which a lot of you probably know that from the really famous little red boathouse that sits on the water. Sometimes it's out with the water, sometimes it's under the water, so we're going to go try find that. So today's pretty much just a scouting mission. Yeah, so the plan of action is to go to Loch today, and then we're going to go to a place called Loch Alvey, which is sort of south, and then we're going to go to another place called Loch, which is also south, just because I've never done it before. And I've come here every single year for 13 years and I don't know why I haven't been to any other lochs apart from Loch Morlich. So I'm quite looking forward to today. It's more of a scouting mission, as I said, but I have no idea what to expect. I have no compositions in mind or anything like that. This is literally just going to be a turn up and see what we can find kind of day. The weather's mixed, it's going to start raining at 2 o'clock, so I'm trying to get everything done before that, whilst the weather's still relatively dry and there's still patches of sunshine coming through as well. Let's go for a wee road trip. Arrived at Loch, and this was quite a place to try and find. The obvious routes are from a cemetery and you have to sort of join a path from there, and then you sort of walk through the forest all the way around the sort of perimeter of the loch to get down to this point here. Rather than taking the sort of classic shot from further around the loch that way, sort of shooting back on the boathouse, I've come to as close as I can get to the boathouse and shooting it side on, because at this side of the loch there's less wind on the water, so the reflection's a lot cleaner and it looks a lot better. For this shot I'll just show you. I'm shooting at 400th of a second, f4. You've got some beautiful trees reflecting in the background there. The boathouse is kind of centred in the middle, and you have this sort of pine tree on the left hand side out of focus, which kind of draws your eye into where the boathouse is. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So I haven't used any polarisers and any filters for this shot because the reflection is very clean. The wind's picking up now, as you can see the ripples in the water, but when I first arrived here it was very still, so the reflection is near enough perfect, and that bright red roof against the sort of dark surroundings just looks absolutely fantastic. So it's definitely a place worth coming down to visit. It's quite a big massive expanse of water, so it would definitely be quite cool for wild swimming. It looks very cold though. You wouldn't catch me doing it. So we went to Loch and Loch and we couldn't really find any competitions, but it's quite difficult to park as well. The Loch water sports, obviously you can park there, but you'd have to sort of go off on a hike, I think, and we didn't really have time to do that today. So what we decided to do was to drive down to another woodland walk. So this is called Invershee in Inshriach Forest Park, and it's absolutely beautiful. Quite a wide variety of trees here. I've came across this little bridge here as well, which has an amazing sort of really fast flowing waterfall down there. One thing I will say about this place is it is poaching with flies, not midges, flies, and they're huge. And I think I just swallowed one. I don't know why they like us so much. They're around us, like they're swarming us just as much as the midges do. So just be aware of that if you come up here. Maybe put like a face covering on you or something like that to stop them from getting down your throat because they're minging. So now we're going to go and try and find Loch Fascally, and this is something that I've been trying to find for about a year and a half now, and I've never been able to find it. So we're going to go and see if we can find it now.
I've got a foot jammed under the seat so I don't fall.
Am I going the right way? So I found Loch Fascally after all these years of trying to find it, and I'm absolutely delighted. It's a beautiful place to come. Not for photographs today though, it's very overcast now. There was a little bit of really cool heavy torrential rain and sunshine as I was driving down, but by the time I got here it had completely disappeared. No atmospheric weather to work with. It was a bit of a shame. Yeah, so it's a bit of a shame because I was really looking forward to coming here, and I've seen some really beautiful photos, but this particular location needs certain conditions to work. I don't think you can just stroll up here and just snap a photo and leave. Like, it's not that sort of place. You have to come in the right conditions, and I think that's essentially what landscape photography is all about. It's not about what gear you have, it's not about whether you use your gear, it's about being in the moment and experiencing the conditions and experiencing the location, and then using your senses and everything about you to sort of assess whether there is a picture there or not before you even take out your camera. I think the whole process and the whole journey to taking a picture is just as important as actually clicking that button, and I don't think enough people actually realise that. Like, it's not about what polarisers you have, and it's not about what filters you have on your camera, and it's not about rocking up with a big massive lens. Like, people don't seem to realise that you could turn up with I've got a 24-70 lens with me and a mirrorless Canon. Not a full frame, mirrorless Canon. I've taken some really beautiful pictures today. Not here obviously, but I have, and it's because I was actually enjoying the sunshine, and I could see like my eyes started to sort of adjust to the trees and sort of like where the light was hitting the trees, and it was a completely different experience. This place is still gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but it's just not, the conditions aren't right today. So I think I mentioned this at the start of the video, I think that's what separates the great photographers from the good photographers, is knowing when not to take a photo. I think that's obviously the benefit of going to locations more than once, is that you get to know them, you get to know your compositions before you actually get there, when the conditions are perfect. And that's not this location today, but it will be a location that I'll come back to maybe in the autumn time, early in the morning, with a wee bit of mist on the water, and there's some beautiful wee sort of white boats sort of scattered about here as well. I think I'm going to end the vlog here. I know it's been a bit of a long one, but I've just been let loose for the second week in a row, so I was really enjoying being out today. I feel like a massive weight has been lifted off me today, especially, and yesterday. Just getting to be outdoors again, and not just outdoors walking, like actually immersing yourself in the outdoors properly. There's nothing like it, and it completely opens your eyes to other photographs that you would have never considered and probably walked right by before. Yeah, I suppose all I'm saying is, if you're out taking photos, take your time, enjoy your surroundings, and you'll be surprised what you can come up with. But go in the right conditions. So I'm going to wrap up today's video here, and I'll put all the photographs at the end as per usual. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you like this video then like and subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye!